Up with KREM begins now.
7 a.m. on our Thursday morning, experts are testing counterfeit N95 masks distributed to Washington hospitals, and those were in use for weeks. This morning, what they found.
Plus, local volunteers have created a website to help Washington residents find vaccine appointments. We'll tell you how they're helping the state now to take advantage of the same technology.
And Spokane may be saying goodbye to Joe Albi Stadium in the best way possible. This morning, the school board proposal that could make this summer rock.
And it's just 12 degrees outside, making this the second coldest morning so far this winter. But boy, does that make for one beautiful sunrise.
Well, welcome to Up with KREM on our Thursday morning. We do begin with breaking news. Authorities issued an Amber Alert for a Chelan teenager. So take a look at your screen here. 14-year-old Rebecca Basil is believed to be with a man and woman, and they could be headed for Spokane. Authorities say she and her 9-year-old brother took their parents' car Tuesday and drove to Malott, and they say that's when they met with the unknown man and woman.
Troopers say that Rebecca dropped her brother off at about 5 o'clock last night in Chelan, but then took off in the stolen vehicle. Rebecca was also seen in a dark green Carhartt hoodie at her last time being seen. And of course, she was wearing light blue jeans that had rips in them. The unknown male is listed as 5'9" and 120 pounds, and the unknown female was last seen in a black coat. Their location right now is unknown, but as we said, Spokane has been mentioned. So if you see them or know where they might be, you are urged to call the police.
Heading to the mountains now, taking a look at Stevens Pass. This morning it's open, however, chains are required. You can see it's a little dicey looking there. The pass closed earlier this week due to heavy snow.
Yeah, this morning WashDOT reports the roadways are more clear with compact ice and snow in some places, and in both directions, traction tires are advised as oversized vehicles are prohibited.
Now this morning, meteorologist Jeremy Legou is joining us from the Outdoor Weather Center. 12 degrees right now, so I'm glad you have your big jacket on. But boy, the look at the lake is also really pretty.
I can't get enough of this. There is something so incredibly beautiful about a cold morning. I don't know what it is, but it's there. And it's all around us. Even if you're here on South Hill like us at KREM, looking around, there's a light little layer of fog, dropping visibility ever so slightly, a glow of the rising sun on the horizon, clear skies overhead, and it's just kind of cold and beautiful, and everything has a little frost to it early on. It's downright gorgeous out here. 12 degrees early on this morning, no doubt about that. It is cold here in town. We're at the airport officially. We dipped down to 10, making this the second coldest morning so far this winter. That sounds ominous, but bundle up. You know what to do. You know how to handle it. This isn't anything crazy. This is actually quite normal for Spokane. It's just kind of crazy that this is the second coldest we've been, sitting at 10 degrees. But look at Deer Park, 9 in both Sandpoint and Coeur d'Alene early on this morning. Visibility dropping in some of those locations. Down low, you get all of that cold air to kind of pool, and that's what's happening with some of the fog here in downtown, down in Tri-Cities as well. So just know you are going to encounter some patchy fog early on this morning. Then as we move through the day, what you are going to encounter is more cloud cover ahead of our next round of snow. That holds off until after we're all home. So after the evening rush, that's when this thing starts, and then, well, it continues overnight. And by the time you wake up Friday morning, 1 to 2 inches of snow on the ground for us here in Spokane, despite temperatures climbing both today and tomorrow. We are going to be above freezing, and I know it's hard to believe that we dipped all the way down to 10 degrees, and by this afternoon, we'll be back in the mid-30s.
All right now, here's a live look at our nation's capital this morning. Lawmakers are expected to grill executives over the GameStop fiasco, as well as some of the key players involved in the trading frenzy last month. The CEOs of Robinhood and Reddit are scheduled to appear, as well as the Reddit poster known as Roaring Kitty, who stirred all of this up, urging investors to buy the stock. Now, 2 hedge fund executives are also expected to testify today. One lost billions after betting GameStop shares would fall.
All right, that saga continues. Tim, thank you. Well, back in 1988, 30,000 fans flooded Joe Albi Stadium for the original Monsters of Rock concert. That was here in Spokane. An encore, though, may be on the way now. Nicole Hernandez is joining us this morning from Joe Albi Stadium to tell us more about that proposal. Hi, Nicole.
Hey, Jen. So now that the sun is up, you can actually see Joe Albi Stadium behind me here right now. And a lot of you might actually remember that Monsters of Rock concert happening a couple decades ago. Well, now Monsters of Rock is potentially going to be the thing that saves this Joe Albi Stadium from demolition as of right now. So the Spokane Public School District says that just because of how run down this building is, that they really don't need a place like this anymore. The school board did approve a Monsters of Rock concert here, though, last year. They had to cancel the event, of course, because of COVID. But now, as vaccine distribution increases across the county, the two-day concert is actually a serious possibility for August. The original event was put on back in the late 80s. It featured bands you probably have heard of, like Scorpions and Metallica. Now, COVID protocols would likely be the deciding factor on whether or not the concert happens here in Spokane.
You know, if this thing happens, it's going to be huge for Spokane. If it doesn't happen, it's not going to be because everybody came to the table and did everything possible.
The Joe Albi Stadium, of course, is currently pretty run down, but the construction company on the demolition says that the concert could still happen before it's torn down and a new stadium is built. If it all works out, it would serve as a final goodbye for a stadium, of course, that has been a staple for major acts here in our area. So the plan is for the Spokane Public School District to make their final decision by March 9th. In Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
We are coming up on 7:07 this morning. Time now for your morning rush. More news in less time.
Well, this morning, authorities are testing counterfeit masks sent to Washington hospitals. The State Hospital Association distributed about 2 million fake N95 and 3M masks across 40 hospitals, and those were in use for weeks. Now, experts are reviewing if they were effective at all in preventing the spread of COVID-19.
They have been found so far to be good masks, which is interesting.
So that's some promising news there. However, the Department of Homeland Security will likely confiscate those masks. Statewide, the hospital system spent $8 million on the fakes. And it's a growing problem across the country. Federal agents seized more than $10 million in recent weeks.
At least 2 Spokane healthcare providers are rescheduling vaccine appointments due to weather-related delays. But Spokane is not the only city seeing those delays. It's also happening around the country as winter storms continue to slam areas throughout the United States. Now, if you have an appointment locally that's scheduled with your vaccine week at Holy Family, they say check your email for updates. If you have an appointment at Multicare, they say they will call you to reschedule. And Chaz says they may have to reschedule appointments at the Spokane Arena if doses don't arrive by Friday.
The Coeur d'Alene Police Department is reporting a spike in downtown crimes related to alcohol. The police chief, Lee White, says it's straining the department. So far, just this year, police have received 122 calls across 4 bars. The city council is now floating ideas to curb the crime, and that includes possibly holding bars financially responsible or introducing a curfew. They say they will take up the issue again at the next city council meeting set for March 2nd.
And we've got some exciting news for you this morning. There's a new baby orca in the Puget Sound L pod. We're taking a look at video, of course, from earlier this year when another baby was born. But the Orca Center does confirm they were shocked to see a new baby next to mom, 30-year-old L86. Whale watchers didn't even know she was expecting. It's been a good past year for the L pod, as the pod did just welcome 2 other babies back in September.
Oh, we love to see that.
Yeah.
All right, that's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media.
Well, 2 Spokane chefs are on a mission to make some unique takeout meals you could only get today. Spokane foodies, you won't want to miss this. We're going to be talking about all of that after the break.
Deadly season for Avalanches here in the U.S. In the next half hour, we talk to the Idaho Avalanche Center director. They explain why we're seeing an uptick in slides.
And we're talking our next round of snow for the inland Northwest. We'll break down when it arrives and how much you can expect by the time you head out the door Friday morning.